is the iPad Air with the M3 chip. And I think this is also the sweet spot when it comes to the perfect iPad because of the price point, because of the specs this iPad provides. And man, this light blue colorway just suits the iPad Air beautifully with this color. I usually go for more muted colors, my blacks, silvers and grays, but this could indeed be my new favorite color for the iPad, or just for an Apple product in general, because it really does look stunning. I have opted for the 11-inch iPad Air in light blue, 128 gigabytes of storage. Although everything looks identical on this iPad, it's the same size. You've got the 11-inch, the 13-inch iPad Air. But another little difference here with this is very minimal, but it doesn't say iPad on the back here anymore. There is nothing on the back at all. I hope the next phase for Apple isn't getting rid of the Apple logo. But it doesn't say iPad here anymore. And I wonder if this is a sign of things to come. Now, what else is in the box? We have the instruction booklet, the power cable as well, USB-C, and no power brick anymore in this. And most importantly, there are still no Apple stickers in the boxes. Anyways, let's get out of here. Now, this iPad may look absolutely identical to the M2 iPad Air, and it is identical. It really is. There's nothing really new about this at all, apart from the chip inside of this iPad being the M3 chip. This thing has an 8-core CPU, a 9-core GPU, and a 16 neural engine inside of this iPad Air. Now, the display has been the same on the iPad Air since the M1 iPad, and now we're on the M3 iPad Air, and the display is exactly the same. It's still at 60 Hertz. It's still a liquid retina display, which for the M3 chip, all these M chips later, M1, M2, M3, now with the M3 chip with this thing, I would have hoped that we would have had at least 90 Hertz in this display, and maybe an OLED display instead of that same LCD liquid retina display. But this thing is smooth, it's snappy, it's fast, and being an iPad Air, it still has the same lightweight design, easy to carry around with you. It isn't as lightweight as the iPad Pro. That is the thinnest and lightest Apple product out there. iPad Essentials. There's a bunch of iPad Essentials behind me for the Air, from a smart folio case, and if you want to heighten your experience with this iPad for the very first time, we now have this smart magic keyboard that essentially turns your iPad into somewhat of a MacBook with the keyboard case. It comes in white, similar to what we see on the iPad Pro. Now for the iPad Air, it's more like a hybrid keyboard case with a floating design there, with a whole row of function keys, and this also supports the Apple Pencil. Let's talk about that. This also supports the Apple Pencil Pro, which is the latest Apple Pencil that's meant for the iPad Pro, now supported on the iPad M3 Air. Just was snapping it on here magnetically, and it still supports as well last year's USB-C Apple Pencil with this. But this pencil, with the technology in the Apple Pencil Pro, for that precise drawing, for all of those heavy note takers out there, for all of those illustrators out there that just love to draw and take notes with their iPad, for the ultimate perfect precision using this Apple Pencil Pro. Talking about the display though, using this outside can be a problem. It just doesn't seem to get bright enough even on full brightness. There is no denying this. This iPad is snappy, it's smooth, it is responsive, the multitasking is great, content creation, I am editing this video bit by bit as I go, all with LumaFusion on this iPad, and it is not skipping a beat. For content creators, this is honestly the perfect iPad. For content consumption, for watching YouTube, Apple TV, Netflix, it all looks great on this display. And gaming as well. Gaming plays phenomenal because of that 9-core GPU, because of that M3 chip. With ray tracing, intensive graphical games, it plays great. It handles them incredibly well. With a 12 megapixel center stage camera, and it shoots in 4K up to 60 frames per second with smart HDR4. But let's be real, who uses their iPad for recording videos or capturing photos? Now, who is this iPad for? This iPad is for those that doesn't want to break the bank. This iPad is for those that want something more than a baseline iPad. The 11th generation of iPad is out now. And then we have the iPad mini, the iPad Air, and then the iPad Pro. And this is the perfect in-between. This is the perfect middleman. This is the sweet spot. It's for those that wants more, that have experienced the first generation iPad, the 10th gen or the 11th gen iPad, loved it, but wants something more. This is the perfect upgrade. This is the perfect iPad. This is the perfect price point. And say it with me, it is Apple Intelligence ready because of the chip inside of here. This is an iPad for someone that wants more out of an iPad.